Good morning, almost afternoon. Thank you for your patience as I was a little late today, but sometimes that happens. Y'all know me. All five of you. Yes, since we're in Thanksgiving week, I wanted to talk about my gratitude. I titled this video Grateful for No Reason because it reminds me of this friend who saw this guy on TV who was sexy for no reason. So for a while, it was a little joke to be sexy for no reason, not for anyone, just for ourselves. But yes, so as we go through 2020, a lot of people, as they have been for years now, are saying 2020 sucks. I can't wait for 2021. 2020 sucks. This year is awful. But sorry, I thought I might have pressed a button that I shouldn't have. But actually, 2020 has been one of my best years, and in the 3D reality of it, there hasn't been any sort of proof to make it one of my best years. But energetically, like, I have just really bounced back. Naturally, I've been this way all my life. Naturally, I've been a silver lining type of person. Oftentimes at my expense, to the point where I can find the silver lining and I don't take the time to address what's really hurting me. I don't take the time to address my shadow. So what these last few years have been for me, hi there, I'm talking about being a silver lining person. What these last few years have been for me is to really dig deep within myself and shine a light on that shadow and really address the things that do bother me and that do upset me and that do make me cry. But I feel like I'm finally getting back to a point of being that silver lining person, to where I can take bad things that happen in my life and really find the most positive nugget out of it, right? So I guess I'm just grateful for that. But I feel like I have elevated to a point where I am seeing the silver lining of things, but not at the expense of myself like I was doing in the past. So as tough as these last few years have been, I had to go through another dark night of the soul. It was very hard and very lonely. Dark night of the soul can be depression, but it is a spiritual type of depression. So if you are going through depression, you might actually be experiencing a dark night of the soul if you want to look into that or get more information on that. And basically what that is like looking at your darkest points, looking at your shadow points, and facing that shadow, facing those inner demons, so you can get to the root of the problem, you can heal those things, right? Because if we have this toxic positivity where we do see the silver lining in every situation and we, to the point where we never address our shadow, then that only ends up hurting us, only causing us more pain, right? So I am glad that I had that opportunity to go inside myself and see those dark things. But what is strange about 2020 for me is that I am increasing my level of gratitude, increasing my level of this back to my normal self of being a silver lining person, as things crumble around me. As the world falls apart. So, like I said, in the 3D, there isn't much to be grateful for if you were just to look at it from a cynical perspective. I didn't, my candidate that I volunteered for didn't get to be president, but the silver lining to that was, and I'll never like regret volunteering. It really changed my life, and politics is something I've always been interested in, and volunteering just took it to the next level, and it can be like this cynical cesspool of no silver linings, right? Like everything is crap. All these people are corrupt. To be honest, the candidate I volunteered for really like brought me out of that. She had a positive spirit about her, and that really like lifted me up back into my silver lining, hopeful state rather than my cynicism. And if not for that, I would probably just be in this loop of I was addicted to news, guys. I was so addicted. And like not even like addicted to news, but also addicted to that like ire, that anger. And I don't want to say that I am ignoring the problems of the world now, but we can get so addicted to what's wrong with the world that we just like stay in that pit, right? But had my candidate won, then I might still be in the pit, right? Trying to fight all of that. So I feel like I've been released from all of that, and I'm really grateful for that. Lockdown, we talk about all of the changes we've had to make during COVID, and I was lucky enough to have a job that paid well, that paid a living wage. That was one of the few good things about it. But when we got the work from home orders, it was a little, it's been a little challenging for me because like affection, I didn't realize how much affection I relied on from my coworkers, just like touch on the shoulder or, a hug or something like that, right? So that's been a little challenging. And there's stuff that you can't do online that I used to be able to do in the office, like little like water cooler gossip about the boss. But our boss was so psycho that we couldn't like do a DM like trash talking her. So that was challenging, but at the same time, like those lockdown orders brought me back into my home space and made me realize, wow, like I really love my home and I spend so much time away from it. It's given me a chance to reconnect with my dog, to like bond with my dog. I just feel so much closer to her and like love her. I'm grateful for her so much. I lost my other dog, so that's something that has been hard on me this year. But the silver lining is that I got to put more energy into my own dog, right? Or my own dog. They were both my dogs, but like I got to put more energy into one dog rather than like spreading out my energy. But I miss her. It's just a little easier to take care of one than two. Two is not bad, and I do think that they need to be in packs, but it's just a silver lining to the situation. Randomly, I started making my bed every day. I never did that whenever I was rushing off to go to work, and I was just thinking about all the energy spent into the rat race. Like I would stay up late procrastinating to go to bed because just like dreading the next work day, and then wake up at the last minute and then zoom off to work so I wouldn't make my bed. But now I don't have that commute time, and working from home was a little different in that I didn't have to put on these airs that I did working in the office, and you don't have to get dressed, right? You don't have to. I try to be pretty because aesthetics are a Libra thing, and I do actually feel better whenever I look in the mirror and there's like a prettier face. I mean, I'm always gonna be pretty, like naturally. But whenever I like do myself up a little bit, I do feel better. Um, but you know, we don't have that, so there's not all this effort put into the rat race, and I'm just so grateful that that experience happened because the blinders really came off of like that system that we were just like feeding into, like for what? Um, and this morning I got to thinking about all the times that people in like the corporate world tried to like dim my shine, dim my light. I laughed too hard, too loud. I had weird folksy phrases. I, you know, made weird jokes. I set boundaries with people and wouldn't be walked all over. I didn't like overpromise things. You know, I would let clients know like this is unrealistic. And then, you know, I would get reprimanded for setting that boundary. And so, especially after I got laid off, like usually getting laid off is not something you're grateful for. But like after it happened, it was like a release because I was trying to, I had to like be an entirely different person just to pay the bills, right? So they just wanted like a cog in the wheel. And I was able to break free of that. And I had this realization this year that, you know, I am a writer. I came out here to write. I came out here to make movies. And so much energy was taken away from what truly lights me up, all to pay bills, but not fully appreciate the bills I was paying for, right? Because I was paying for rent, but I was always away from my home. And now that I'm in my home more, it's like I really appreciate that. And I'm like, I'm grateful for my landlords who are patient with me. Not everyone gets that. And so, you know, I haven't been kicked out. I'm lucky that they were paying me living wages, that like I was able to save, right? So there's so many things that haven't, like in the 3D reality of it, it doesn't seem like there would be, it would be easy to be cynical, right? It would be easy to say that screwed that company, they laid me off, or whatever the case may be, right? But I just feel like an immense amount of gratitude for all of the learning experiences that brought me, and for the circumstances that led to who I am now. And I've had more gratitude as far as twin flame separation, love life, all that. I feel like my I feel like there is like a clearing of you know, things I wasn't resonating with that are, so there's a clearing to make way for the things that I want, right? So when we do acknowledge our shadow, when we do face those icky things within us, it gives us an opportunity to create the life we really want by contrast of that, right? So I am really grateful for that. I'm really really grateful. I've had some, just an online community. There's been kind of a blackout of me. And I say friends, but it's like online community of friends who, um, you know, weren't there for me. Um, weren't there for me despite me being there for them. And 2020 has really shined a light on so many one-sided relationships, and it's given me more of a confidence to say, I deserve that appreciation. I deserve that, the level of energy that I'm giving into you. So again, it's sort of a release of people who were sort of sucking on my light, or um, they didn't reciprocate that energy, right? And I have been thinking about my role as a light worker in that way. And that's shifting because, it used to not bother me that, like, I would be the light for them, because I just felt like that was naturally my purpose, right? I am a silver lining person. I am the funny person. I am the laughy person. But I am learning that I need energetic reservoirs, right? And I can only live by example. Not articulating this point well, so let's move on. I'm just super grateful, okay? And I've complained a lot about my parents, especially my mom this year, and I'm sorry, I'm working through it. Mars in the fourth house. But I am really grateful to her. I'm grateful that without her, like, I would not be here today. Not just in, like, she gave birth to me, she gave life to me, but, like, I don't think a lot of other people would be strong enough to take the risks that I take, and it's because I have a strong mother, and I'm really grateful to her, and really grateful to my dad, because there have been some things over this past year that we have bonded over, and our relationship has deepened, so that is really special to me. And through this process of back to the friendships, through this process of realizing that people aren't going to be there for me, it has really reflected, it's really brought forth the people who are, right? So I appreciate them more. And I say this from time to time. I think it's a good little adage that you can take with you. But scarcity gives me an appreciation for things others take for granted. I made that up on my own. Quote me on it. Lauren E. Brown. So with all these disappointments, it makes me cherish what the blessings that I do have, and like even more, because for someone else they may get blessings left and right, and they might take them for granted, right? So whenever we experience lack, experience things that are withheld from us, then it gives us an opportunity to fully appreciate the things that we have, right? So I'm just grateful. And I'm grateful to this community. I'm grateful to anyone who watches this. I know a lot of people are expecting pick a cards. I shot some pick a card readings. I was going to start them back in January and start other content. But pick a cards and tarot and all of that, I am wondering about the reciprocity in that area too, because it takes a lot of energy to do those things, and unless you're a full-time tarot reader, you have to wonder, like, is that energy worth it? And there are a lot of people who are, I'm happy to help, but there are a lot of people who are desperate and like hanging on to your energy. And as an empath, it's really hard to, it's just a weird feeling to carry that with you. So I'm rethinking how much effort I give in that regard, but I still want to help people. I just wonder if so many of these pick a card readings, how does he feel about you, all of that, are creating an addictive nature, an obsessive quality. I'm 36. Rude. Anyway, no, I'm not in my mid-40s. But I think I might enter more into collective readings, collective conscious readings, collective consciousness readings. The internet sure keeps you humble. Mid-40s. They just asked if I was in my mid-40s. I will say, though, that a lot of people think I'm younger than I actually am, but apparently I look like a 40-year-old now. So that keeps you humble, like I said. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know if I will be back on for, yes, I play guitar. If I will do the pick a card readings like I, as often as I did prior. I feel like sometimes that can keep me in a rat race. It can keep the readers, the platforms addicted to likes, to views, to subscribers, and it's still like, it's still, my sign is Libra. It's still, it's still something it's a skill I want to use, but I have to be mindful of my energy. But I am grateful to anyone who watches this, or for the subscribers that I have who are allowing me to take this time to figure out, the direction I want to go, and really grateful to that. I'm really grateful to anyone who, the existing pick a card readings, I'm grateful to anyone who comments and lets me know that it was helpful to them, because it lets me know, like, these aren't in vain. Okay, I'm gonna get off here, but I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful, and I love you very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving if you live in the U.S. If you don't live in the U.S., then happy Thursday and Friday. Bye.